Potato Cat. Welcome to my channel. Today we are playing The Letter. Previously, we played as Hana and got into a fight with her husband. He was being flirty. Kicked him out of the room. And then when we finally moved into the mansion, kind of ranted and went off about him to Mary Ann, who we thankfully were able to nicely ask her to not tell anybody, and she was cool with it because, you know, she's not that type of person. And now we're meeting Zach, I guess, because he's doing a photography thing for luxury living. It's pretty much where we left off. Alright, let's continue. Are his nails gray? Did he paint his nails? Or is that just a weird color choice? It is in the gardens that I see him standing near the flowers in quiet admiration. He is hard to miss, the hulk of a man that clearly did not belong, and the big backpack and suitcase he has with him makes him look much larger. In a peculiar sight, seeing someone who looks like he does handling little delicate things with such care. He looks up from the gardens and does a double take before a friendly face replaces his serene expression.
Miss Wright, yeah? Hi, Zachary Steele here from Luxury Living, ma'am.
Oh, he's so polite.
Hope you weren't waiting too long.
Nope, we were just gossiping about things.
But it looks like you're still moving in, huh?
That we are.
Thought for a second there my calendar was wrong and I came here too early.
The one and only. Welcome, welcome to Maison de Right.
Of course she had to say Maison de Right.
And yes, we've been in the process of moving in as we were delayed. But it won't be a problem. They're just adding a few things here and there, and you should still be able to do your work.
Does she know Rose is dead? Just wondering.
Where's the rest of your crew then, Mr. Steele?
Zach is fine, please. Mr. Steele makes me feel like I'm a mascot for a cleaning product.
I can just see it.
Anyway, I'll be your one-man crew for today. Don't worry, been doing this gig for a while now.
You must be quite the veteran to handle this on your own. We've had a full crew coming into our penthouse the last time we were covered in your magazine.
Veteran?
Is he not happy about that statement?
Oh, your words are too kind, Miss Wright.
Aww, he is happy.
Hana! If I get to call you Zach, you have my permission to call me Hana.
Alrighty then. Anyway, I'm no veteran, but I know my camera well enough to make sure this is a good shoot. You can trust me on that, Miss Wright. Hana.
Monsieur Le... Can't read that too small. I assume it means Mr. Photographer. Zachary proves quickly enough that I can evoke trust him. His skills with the camera and experience in the industry, at the very least. He is kind and courteous, listening to the following as I lead him around the house. A really nice fellow, and he treats our household staff well whenever we cross paths with them. I answer his questions to the best of my ability, and he is patient enough to answer mine whenever I get curious enough. For one, I ask what the bags are for. They are quite the magician's toolkit. From inside, he had procured several items and to embellish the interior with. Bowls of fruits, lemons, trays of peppermills, stacks of cookbooks, cutting boards, and glass canisters filled with colorful nuts and grains are brought in for the kitchen fitting. For the bathroom, there are white towels, seashells, and decorative soaps. There are other things as well, too numerous to count, all in that large backpack and suitcase.
Tricks of the trade. Softens up a room, makes a place feel more homey, and fills it up with texture.
Yep.
But you guys probably have better stuff I can use for this.
Yeah, but they won't look as nice in photos. They'll probably look too bougie.
No lights? Don't tell me all of these are just props.
Well, I've got my tripod here. For things like these, natural light is best. I'll just have to set the shutter speed to a real slow setting, and as long as nobody steps into the shot, it'll look great.
Oh, it better.
Yeah, our name is on the line. We go through the rooms one at a time, although we first tackle the ones that the movers have no business in anymore. Ooh. This looks cool. I like the ceiling here. The ballroom needs a little preparation. The ballroom needs little preparation with its grand design. Although there is some trouble at first, the wide open space and the pictures being backlit. It is in the kitchen that Zachary's props come in handy, considering how Johannes, it is Johannes, right? Kept the place so neat and sterile, one can practically eat off the floor. Ooh. This is also pretty. I like the ceiling in here too. It's a very pretty bed. We carry on touring the house and taking pictures where we can, the exception to the rooms which have yet to gain any proper purpose or design. Too bad I can't take a sneak peek at his photos yet. Funnily enough, he is using a traditional camera. I didn't even know film still existed. With the way he speaks, however, I can see that he knows enough about his props that I'm not too worried about botched photographs. I imagine photography must be cathartic for him, judging how at ease he looks while taking pictures. There are small snippets of conversation in between the clicking of the camera. He even goes far as to talk about these terminologies like shutter speeds and aperture when I ask about the technical aspects. I can't quite see the picture as it is made, much like when I watch artists paint on their canvas. But just watching someone passionately practicing their craft such as this is exciting in its own way. Going through the many rooms has been quite the exercise for both of us, and he's carrying tons and tons of things. Oh, look at him taking a picture of us. Aren't we a pretty little peach? Despite that, he has been so nice, and I find myself putting on my best smile. But it is as we're taking pictures in the foyer that everything comes to a standstill for a moment. Just a moment. And I had not been paying attention. Had I not been paying attention, I wouldn't have even noticed. It is merely a split second when Zachary's rhythm is put to a halt. Oh no! His finger doesn't move to release the shutter. Well, this can't be good. Yet, he also doesn't pull the camera away from his face, gaze still firmly fixed through the viewfinder. His hands shake and there is a light sheen of sweat on his forehead.
Zachary?
You don't feel the ghost lady around your neck? No response.
Zach, is something the matter?
Lowering his camera, he blinks and stares at something behind me before shaking his head. Turning around, though, I see nothing that could have gotten his attention.
Oh no, there's nothing wrong. I just remembered something, that's all. Let's get back to the pictures.
I wonder if we play as Zachary next.
Can you move a bit more to the left, yeah?
Away from the strangling ghost lady, please? I struggle to respond this time. There's a sudden weight on my back, and it's indescribable. Tightness around my throat. Everything stops. And everything starts again. As I manage to choke out.
If you're sure.
I don't know what just happened. It was probably just a dizzy spell. I'm fine. And he said he's fine. We continue at the same pace as before, although there is an unspoken agreement that we will not talk about what had happened.
So, is this a full-time job for you then?
This is a nice room too. I do notice they keep using the same paintings over and over again, although I don't know if that's intentional or if they just didn't feel like creating new paintings for every room.
Nah, I just freelance mostly, for magazines, newspapers, and events. So you can't really call it a full-time job. It's fun and it puts food on the table, but it's not what I really want to do.
Oh.
At least, not all the time.
Is he gonna tell her about his
What
film?
is it that you want to do then?
Maybe I've been out of line sticking my nose into other people's business, but I can't help but ask. I regret doing so as his shoulders stump, and the easygoing air he has fades away. He looks torn over whether he wants to talk about it or not.
Films. Documentaries mostly. But cinematography is a lot more difficult than photography, right?
Depending on who you ask.
I was working on this thing, actually.
What thing?
Well, it
Piqued your
wasn't really
curiosity.
a big thing.
It seems like a big thing.
People didn't like Blue Fonzie very much.
Blue fancy.
People don't like a film about colors. I suppose they would have liked Blue Bibby a lot more.
Very funny.
So, Grand Director, do you want to tell me what Blue Fonzie is all about?
He hesitates, but when I refuse to budge on the matter, he gives in and spills it all out. Bleu foncé, le heu, la place sombre des noirs britanniques. I'm pretty sure I pronounced the last one incorrectly. Dark blue, the darkest hour of the black British. He speaks with passion of one who has gone through the very matter he is concerned with. There is conviction, knowledge, and experience in his speech. Why, I would have told him that he's an amazing speaker, if only I wasn't so engrossed in listening. Prejudice, and discrimination in schools and the workplace. Lesser chances for opportunity and higher chances of being treated like a criminal. He spoke of blacks and people of color in general, still being treated like second-class citizens, all because of color of their skin. It is all just positively riveting and sad. It comes to a point where he soon loses steam. He looks abashed, realizing what he had just done.
Sorry, I just got so carried away and...
It's fine. It is really so fascinating to watch people talk about their passion after all. You should see how your eyes light up when you speak so fiercely.
I feel like the husband is going to come in and see us chatting and is going to throw a hissy fit over this.
You do have very beautiful eyes.
Uh-huh. Thanks, I guess.
I want to say that I understand where he's coming from. But I really don't, do I? I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth, and I've lived a charmed life. It hasn't been perfect, but the difficulties I've been through pales in comparison to what others experience on a daily basis. I certainly don't know how I would have fared were it any different. Would I still have met Luke, and would he still have loved me if I was any lesser?
What was your home like? These things you talk about, it sounds like you've... Well, I don't mean to pry, I mean.
I live with my older sister and my grandparents. We had a shop selling all sorts of things below our flat. And well, I was one of the few non-white, non-British students in class. I didn't get pushed around or anything straight up. Even then, I was one of the biggest kids around. But a pencil and notebook would go missing, you know?
Oh, that I knew. Children can be so cruel at times. Of course, it may be a slightly different story when you have personal guards and the stolen item is not a pencil, but an expensive heirloom.
So what about you? How you liking your new house? It's pretty impressive.
It's nice, I suppose.
You suppose?
Well, her husband's kind of a dick, so it feels a bit cold.
Not big enough?
What? No, oh, don't be a bully. It's just that...
I understand if you don't want to talk about it.
I was a little girl, all dolled up and treated like fragile porcelain, with nursemaids waiting to me hand and foot. All the material possessions anyone could ever want, I could ask for on a whim, and it would be handed to me just like that. But I barely saw my parents, just goodbye kisses in the morning, before they went off to who knows where they were needed to next. I saw them more than often on the telly or in papers than I ever did in person.
I remember my old house. It was a lot like this one. Big walls and big halls, but nobody in it. Not really. It makes you think how alone you are.
A pensive mood overcomes us, and there's a moment where neither of us are sure of how to go on from there. Things have gotten a bit too personal, yet it isn't wholly uncomfortable, like as if we've been friends before.
Well, that's normal, ain't it? You just moved here.
Yeah, but it was like that when the place we lived at for a while.
You'll make home out of it yet.
It certainly makes it easy to believe that. My childhood house is indeed a lot like this one, just as large and extravagant, and just as empty. I hope he's right.
So, Monsieur le Photographe, you've covered the one and only Ermengarde Mansion. What's next on the agenda?
The interview?
Please don't go in the attic.
Boring. It's an interior design and housing magazine.
And they want to know what Miss Wright has to say about her interior design and house.
Honor Wright thinks she bought a magnificent house that she can certainly brag about. Blah, blah. Boring.
I'm coming to like Hannah a lot. Like, at first I did not like her, but I'm starting to like her a lot more.
You know what they should print more of? I watched an interesting documentary the other day. Bleu Foncé, The Darkest Hours of the Black British. I recommend you watch it. Those are the things that people should know about. What do they care if I use a purple or green bowl of fruit in my kitchen?
A lot of people care, because they live vicariously through you.
People, right?
Oui. People are shite. What do you think? Do I look good with this angle?
I strike a pose while he's being busy looking taken aback for a moment, probably not expecting me to just go and say such cross words. But he recovers quickly, and after snapping a few shots, he grins.
Yeah, vous êtes belle.
Oh, he says I'm beautiful.
You want copies of these ones?
Yes, please. So, the big boy knows French. You must have wooed a few ladies. Unless you're into gents.
He could be into both.
Either way, French is, after all, the language of romance.
I guess.
Though I don't know about quoting fancy poetry. But I've made lunch for a girl before, and they did like that fancy French cuisine.
Omelette du fromage.
Can you cook your best?
Fancy soup.
I can cook just about anything as long as I know the recipe.
C'est magnifique.
Yeah. I guess it is magnificent. You can follow a recipe. It has been too long since I've had a nice and proper chat with a good friend. No, Lee is certainly not a good friend. And although we've just met, Zachary is the sort who can probably befriend anyone. He's just a comfortable person to be around with. A bit too comfortable. The photo shoot went by a breeze, and somewhere along the way, as we talk and laugh, I find myself getting a bit too close without realizing. He'll give me this strange look until I back off, and he'll go back to asking questions after I agreed to do his little interview. And it's just odd. Well, no. Me being friendly? Isn't that odd? That's how I am. Zachary is the one that's being odd. While anyone else would absolutely welcome the extra attention I give them. He, on the other hand, looks almost flustered about it. He should be used to different personalities by now, having to deal with various people when he works. If not, he needs to start. Perhaps nobody has shown him attention of this kind. But he's a big boy. He should be able to handle me. All it is a friendly touch here, a pretty smile there, a gentle swaying of the hips as I moved around. Zachary grew more red every time he noticed. Am I being mean, as I find enjoyment in seeing him unravel? Perhaps. This went on during the interview, and beyond that, there's nothing wrong with what we're doing, right? Zachary and I are just having a playful, friendly chat while enjoying the outside view. At least that's how I see it.
I'm sorry, but I'm really getting distracted.
Poor Zachary.
Could you maybe stop doing that?
Stop? I'm not sure if I want to, though. Continue teasing. Stop it. Oh no, I knocked something over. We'll stop. Yeah, we should.
I'll stop if it makes you uncomfortable, sweetie.
Oh, good. He likes us more now. Otherwise, it's just harassment, isn't it?
Sorry.
No, I should be the one apologizing. Why, you're a shy one, aren't you, big guy?
It's not that, but...
He gestures to the ring on my finger, and lets the fact of the matter hang heavily between us. Being told implicitly that I am too forward is not a common occurrence. I think I'm more stunned at the fact he pointed it out, rather than, well, being rejected. Not that anything is going to happen between us in the first place. It was just going to be some harmless flirting, right?
So, you've never had a girlfriend?
No.
Oh.
No boyfriend either. You know, just in case you were gonna ask for that one next.
And you haven't even had your first kiss?
Not a one, ma'am.
Oh.
Do you want to have your first kiss today?
Don't do that to him. I can't help it. I really, really can't. And I am going to apologize lots later. Surely by the catty smile on my face, it's obvious that I'm just pulling his leg. Does the look on his face look like he sees that? The laugh I failed to contain certainly gives it away, if it still isn't obvious. But still, he lights up embarrassment, stammering and sputtering objections.
You're married, and this will be extremely unprofessional.
I never said I would kiss you, silly. Oh, Johans!
Johan.
No, what? No. Don't call your butler. She's Hannah.
That would be for the better. I don't think his husband would appreciate it if I made him kiss another man. I do not think he can hear us from here either. But it is hard to think you're not taken, Zachary. Why, whoever becomes your girlfriend will be so lucky to have you. You can cook and take wonderful photographs. Wonderful meals and wonderful memories.
I can play guitar too.
Oh, well, don't you just get more and more charming?
You can? Oh my, wonderful serenades as well then. Perhaps I can find a young lady who deserves a fine, strapping young gentleman like yourself.
Let's not get carried away.
Besides, I gotta be going.
It's getting late and I got someplace else to be.
A shame. I will be expecting you again soon, I hope. For a copy of my photographs, yes?
Course, I'll even deliver them personally.
Oh, yay.
Just, you know, don't try to make me kiss your butler when I drop by.
Of course he shows up now. As fate would have it, the very moment the words leaves his mouth, Johannes comes out of the house. I swear I keep mispronouncing names more than I should be. Hold on. Let's see. Scroll up. Can we scroll up? Does it only go back so far? Yeah, I went way too far up. Let's see. Almost. I just missed it. What?
Oh, Johans!
Johannes. There we go. As fate would have it, in the very moment the words have left his mouth, Johannes comes out of the house. Judging by the slight raise of his brows, he has heard only the tail end of the sentence.
There shall be no kissing of any butlers under this roof. Danke.
But you are not under a roof, are you, Hansi?
To my amusement, he takes a step back, safely placing him within the threshold of the foyer, and under the roof of the house. And just as ever, he is quick to return with a sardonic reply.
I am now. As I was saying, madam, it's about time for supper.
I love the butler.
Will I be needing to set an extra place at the table?
Oh, what? No, I was just leaving, actually. So, you have a good night, Hannah. And you too, Hansi.
It was nice to meet you, Zach, honey. You have a safe trip.
He nods, and the grin on his face as we say our goodbyes is the sweetest that I have ever seen. I linger looking out for him with his relatively tiny bicycle backpack safely secured in the basket by the front and the suitcase hooked onto the back. I watch as he went down the path back to Ansem village until he is nothing more than a blip in the horizon. I cannot help the small smile on my face as I go inside for supper. Journal updated. Oh, this does not sound like good music. Oh, here it is. Hannah met Zachary Steele, a freelance photographer from the Luxury Living, an interior design magazine. Zachary was tasked with the interview Hannah and to take pictures of the mansion and its new owners, who should have been what should have been a professional meeting ended up being a friendly and perhaps too personal. Entering the dining hall causes me so much confusion. Why are we confused? It is dark. For a moment, I thought the electric work is not up to par. But that clearly is not the case, as every other room is bright. What artificial light. Dun dun dun. Or perhaps it's romantic, which I guess is more like sha-la-la-la-la. I don't know. Yes, we'll see what happens next to Hana. Next episode. I am Tato Cat. If you haven't already liked, comment, subscribe, have a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon.